I need 1,300 people to come to church next week with an over and above seed of $100. You know what over and above means?
Yeah.
It's not your tithe. It's not your regular offering.
Expect you to do what the Lord wants you to do. Like those of you who realize that the Lord wants you to give generously into his church. Amen. Don't ask no questions. Don't ask how come, why come the pastor have to have him a nice house? Why come pastor got to have a nice car? Don't ask. I said don't ask. I said don't ask. No questions. Just give the money. Get the collection plate right on that side. Nigga, get it around on that side.
You see, things like this are part of the reason why a lot of black churches have a bad reputation in black America. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that any money is being stolen or misappropriated. I'm pretty sure that this money is going to go to what he says it's going to go to. And he's saying that it's going to go to basically building like a whole new campus for the church. And I believe that that's actually what's going to go to. But that's where my issue comes in. See, me as a believer, as a member of a church, I look at this like a lot of churches and a lot of pastors, the church, the campus, it becomes a vanity project, not just for the pastor, but for the members of the church and for the other clergy members of the church. It becomes something that you can brag on and feel good about and, poke your chest out about. Look at this beautiful campus that we have. Look at this beautiful building. Look at all these offices. Look at all this land. And there's nothing wrong with the church having a beautiful, nice-sized campus. Nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is oftentimes we get so focused on the beautiful campus and the size of the sanctuary and building a new church and a bigger building, and we had to have all these different services, and it's just like we get so caught up on that because it edifies us, it makes us feel good, that we kind of get sideways when it comes to actually evangelizing and making a difference. Because in my personal opinion, it's embarrassing to have a church with all these members and you got 3 and 4 services and you got a huge campus and all these buildings and, it's just a huge, beautiful, huge building and the city around it is failing. The kids are doing bad in school. There's crime all over the place. Young people dying. Families not staying together. Single parent households. Crime all over the place. I'm not saying that the church is supposed to save the city, but what I am saying is, at the very least, the 3, 4, 5 blocks on the perimeter of the church, you should at least be able to say, okay, the schools within 5 miles of this church, the neighborhood within 5 miles of this church, those are safe neighborhoods. Those are good schools. They're solid families because this church is having an impact on its immediate area. In my opinion, it is embarrassing to have these huge churches and the community around it is in disarray. It shows you're not really having any impact. And if we're going to keep it real, when it comes to a lot of these huge churches, a lot of the members of these churches don't actually live in their neighborhood around the church. They driving 25, 30, 45 minutes, an hour to this church in this neighborhood and then leaving out after service. So it's literally having zero impact. And so let's look at what he asked for, which once again, I don't think he's misappropriating. It's just like, I'm going to get into what could be happening in my opinion. You want 1,300 people. First of all, the fact that you got all these members and Atlanta is going the way it's going, combine you with Jamal Bryant and y'all got all these members and You see what's going down in Atlanta in terms of the youth and the crime and the violence? Come on, man. I'd be embarrassed. I really would. I'd be embarrassed. Every Sunday you getting up here in your designer clothes and your designer suits, standing in front of 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people doing 2 and 3 different services. And when you leave out to the parking lot, the city of Atlanta is in the condition that it's in, I'd be embarrassed. But anyway, you want 1,300 people to bring $100 in addition to their tithes and offering. So let's just do some math right here. First of all, 1,300 times 100 is $130,000. So that's that right there. Almost $150,000 just in one Sunday. But that's outside, because you heard what he said, that's in addition to the tithe and the offering. Right? Let's just be conservative and say that on average, people that go to that church, they make $800 every 2 weeks. So that's $180. And then William Murphy one Sunday out of his own mouth said that the average offering is $13. So you want 1,300 people to basically bring you $200 on one Sunday. Do some quick math. 1,300 times 200. You tell me what that is. $2,600,000. So just over $250,000 in one Sunday. Once again, because they want to build this new center and this new campus, and they got this land. Listen, this is where the church looks away, honestly. Because with $260,000 in 1 week, you know what you could do? Besides building a whole new campus and all this other stuff? Listen, like I said, the city is struggling, the kids are doing bad. You could hire an actual social worker, because the social workers typically make between $55,000 and $80,000. You could hire a social worker for $68,000. You can hire 2 of them. You could hire, you could really do some stuff in the community helping the youth. Because that's what the problem is. A lot of young people don't feel loved. They feel ignored. They don't have anything to do with their free time. They're behind academically. They need somebody to teach them how to control their emotions. They need to find something that they're good at. They need something to do off the streets. With $250,000 raised in just 1 week, you could really have an impact on a lot of young people's lives within the community. And you wouldn't have to just have people volunteering. Yes, you would have volunteers, but with that amount of money, you could pay some people to do that for the year on a salary. Think about how many young people are in their early 20s in that church. Maybe went to college, maybe didn't. Don't really know what they got going on. Don't really know what they're doing. You could pay what? A couple of them $45,000 and get them really involved in helping and reaching out and give them a purpose. Say, you were trying to figure out what you're going to do. I'm going to help you find your purpose. I'm going to give you this salary, and you're going to figure out ways to work with and reach the youth. Because, listen, a lot of us, we're in our 30s and 40s. We don't really know what the young folk got going on. But you in your early 20s, you can really tap in, and you really got a pulse of what's going on. So we're going to pay you to relate to the young folk and really make a difference out here. That's what could really be happening. But instead, I want $250,000 because I got this vision for this huge church. That's no different from Jamal Bryant, and he on there talking about I need all this money because I'm going to spend all this money to buy new signs for the church. See, the issue is not necessarily misappropriation of funds. The issue with a lot of these churches is, what plans do you have for the money? And what's the most effective use of the money versus what makes you feel bigger and bolder and prouder about the size of your church and the beauty of your campus? That's the problem.